Hey friends, how's it going? My name's Miriam, if we haven't met, and amongst other things, I'm a poet, and I'm sitting currently in an armchair, hence the armchair poet. Now, I'm not doing regular poetry videos or weekly videos as I have done in the past at the moment, but I felt inspired and challenged to do one today in my morning devotional reflections, because I was challenged to continue doing creative things from myself, but also with an outward aspect, an outward focus. So these poetry videos are helping me in this season and in my processing, and I hope perhaps they're helping you too. Now, I asked a friend of mine, John Inglesos, who many of you may know and the wonderful man that he is, if he could pick any poem for me to do in an armchair poetry video, what would he pick? And so he sent through a suggestion called Strict Care, Strict Joy by James Stephen. And I clicked on the link and read it. Having looked through it, I thought, yeah, actually this might be perfect for today. And I actually know what poem of mine I could do to go with it as well. So I'll read my poem first, and then we'll come to James Stevens, and hopefully you'll see how they tie together. But if you feel inspired to send through requests of poems for me to focus on or to do a reading of, let me know in the comments or DM me. And I wanted to start with this one of mine, which is, well, it's not called Untitled. It actually is untitled. You can see here that Untitled is in parentheses, which means it's not titled Untitled, it's actually the absence of a title. I have fun with that. I hope you enjoy it too. So I want to begin with Untitled. And it goes like this. Has, then, happiness moved beyond my reach? Or have I moved beyond it? I practice joyful moments, but find still sorrow's shadow at my shoulder. Perhaps, where happiness is flippant, fleeting, sorrow is a more faithful companion. Darkness is my only friend. And I think there may be times when sorrow is just the right kind of friend. I sit with the shadow sides, restless sighs, grief over grief yet to come. Perhaps for a time, sorrow's strange companion is the right one, for she comforts me strangely, admitting both together that this is not how the world should be. I sat the other evening in sweet moment, company of a friend, by cool dark night, staring out over city lights, and I knew that this could have been just happy. But instead, we sat and talked, thoughtful in the dark, and it was right that happy wasn't there. Rather, better that sorrow joined, an uncomfortable jewel, but rare. The end. I read Psalm 87, I think it is, which is where that quote, darkness is my only friend, comes from. I read that in my devos last night before bed. So perhaps it's appropriate that that poem came up today. And now to James Stevens. Strict Care, Strict Joy, written in 1931, so some of the language might be a bit unfamiliar to us, and if that's the case, just let the rhythm float over you and absorb the language rather than feeling the need to grapple with it. But I'll include the link to this poem in the description below as well, so that you can look at the words if you'd like. I was under strict instructions from John not to try and read this in an Irish accent, and I think that is a very good idea because I would do a terrible job. So here is Strict Care and Strict Joy in my accent. And it goes like this. Today I felt as poor O'Brien did, when, turning from all else that was not his, he took himself to that which was his own, he took him to his verse. For other all he had not, and no man will crave and seek, another all than this he did not need. So, Pen in hand, he tried to tell the whole tale of his woe in rhyming, lodge the full weight of his grief in versing, and so did then, when his poem had been conned and cared, and all put in that should not be left out, did he not find, and with astonishment, that grief had been translated, or was come other and better than it first looked to be, and that this happened because all things transfer from what they seem to what they truly are, when they're innocently brooded on. And so, the poet makes grief beautiful. Behold me now, with my back to the wall, playing music to empty pockets, so Rafferty, turning a blind man's plight, could sing the cark of misery away, and know, in blindness and in poverty, that woe was not of him, nor kind to him. And Egan Rayleigh begins a verse, my heart is broken and my mind is sad. 'Twas surely true when he began his song, and was less true when he had finished it. Be sure his heart was buoyant, and his grief drummed and trumpeted as grief was sung. For as he mediated misery, and cared it into song, strict care, strict joy, caring for grief, he cared his grief away. And those sad songs, though woe be all the theme, did not make us grieve who read them now, because the poet makes grief beautiful. And I myself, conning a lonely heart, full lonely 'twas, and 'tis as lonely now, turned me by proper to my natural, and now too, long her vagrant, wooed my muse, then to her let us look more close to these, and seeing know and knowing, be at ease. Seeing the sky o'ercast, and that the rain had plashed the window and would plash again, seeing the summer lost and the winter nigh, seeing inapt and sad and fallen from good, seeing how will was weak and wish o'erbearing, seeing inconsistent, seeing timidity, seeing too small, too poor in this and yon, seeing life daily grow more difficult, seeing all that moves away, moving away, and that all seeing is a blind man's treat, and that all getting is a beggar's dole, and that all having is bankruptcy. All these, sad all, I told to my good friend, told Rafferty, O'Brien, Rayleigh, told rain and frosted blossom and the summer gone, told poets dead and captains dead and kings, and we cared naught that these were mournful things, for caring them, we made them beautiful. Oh, I really love that. Perhaps you are carrying grief, but in the act of carrying, may you make it beautiful. And may you remember that you are fully seen and fully known and fully loved. And I look forward to chatting to you next time.